We are live. This is Reseller Wake Up episode 196. It's Wednesday, everybody. How's it going? First episode of the new year.
196.
196. I've got over 200 videos on my freaking channel. Spent a lot of time on YouTube over the last year. What's up with y'all? How's the new year treating you so far?
Hold on, some guy just started a live hangout.
Oh, you gotta mute him? Okay.
All right, I'll go first. Same as last year. I mean, nothing really. It's yeah, I didn't do any New Year's resolutions. I'm not really doing anything different, so I'm kind of uneventful.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Mike? Anything?
No resolutions or anything. I mean, last year was a hit.
Yeah, did pretty well last year.
Last year freaking rocked. So all I can say is I basically have the same resolution every year. I want to do better than I did last year. My plan is, as usual, work hard and learn a bunch of new stuff and use the stuff that I learned from last year, and hopefully
work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm already learning some new stuff this year. I ordered from a couple of companies, and there was like pallet loads of stuff, new items and all that from different companies, and yeah, I didn't think about the whole staggering shipments. So yesterday I received 3 pallets. That wasn't the problem. It fit okay in the garage, and we could work around it. The problem is that they contacted me from the same company and said, by the way, 2 more are coming. And so yeah, those will be here tomorrow.
So you have some work to do.
Yeah. So I got through about a pallet and a half last night, and then I think I'll finish up the rest today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Then I have 2 orders to pick up, and I know I have some more stuff coming in UPS. So I don't know. January might be a really, really good month. The way it's looking.
Yeah. You've been getting a lot of shipment.
I always liked January. I was listening to. Well, I fell asleep after I was tired, and I usually put something on my phone just to help me go to sleep. But Scavenger Life was saying that at the beginning of their latest podcast thing or whatever. I was listening to them last night as I was falling asleep, and they're talking about January. How January is a good month. It's with e-commerce. Typically it's with most retailers, brick and mortar. It's always it's the worst month ever. But with e-commerce, because so many people and they were speculating. Like I said, I fell asleep, so I don't know what all they speculated about. But they did. One of the things they said was that people get online and shop from work before Christmas, and then afterwards, you've got gift cards and people buying things that they didn't get for Christmas that they wanted. So January's always been a decent month for me, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is shaping up to be a pretty good month for me. I mean, it's horrible on Amazon because I haven't shipped anything in since November, and everything that I've got in there right now is all like really high-ranking, random, like 30,000 ranked video games or 2 million ranked books or whatever, just random stuff. Nothing like all the good stuff is sold out through like November and December. So I just don't have anything that's keeping things going. But I've been focusing really hard on eBay, and it's been really good. I mean, eBay's picking up a lot. I've been working on my photo setup and everything, and trying some new stuff that's been working out really well. Got a new camera. But just trying to streamline things around here. I mean, I didn't really have any New Year's resolutions either. I've been, typical fare. Try to eat healthier. Go hit the gym a little bit more often. I mean, I do jiu-jitsu, but that's like it. And I need to actually start lifting some weights, doing some cardio, going for a run in the morning. Maybe ride my bike, that sort of stuff, instead of just that one thing. So I've been doing that. But yeah, I got this I don't even know. Miracle Matcha Health Mix-In. One of my, I don't know, this company sent me a bag of it just to try it out, but it's like, I figure since New Year's, start trying some of the healthy stuff, but I mean, it's like chia and flaxseed and goji berries and stevia and stuff like that. Is that what it's called? Stevia, that sweetener? It's like all natural, but it's kind of like really, really strong.
Yeah.
Depends on where you're from.
What's that?
Depends on where you're from.
Oh.
Hey,
But yeah,
I wanted to make an announcement real quick about the Amazon Seller app. I don't know if you guys are using Profit Bandit now or whatever. I started finding this out. I thought that Amazon was jumping on the item like late, like after I got the item, they jumped on it. But what I found out is whenever you scan the item, if you look, that's the top numbers at 34 whatever. That's the number they use to calculate the FBA. And then whenever you click on it, it tells you you're going to make X amount of dollars, blah, 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 like they break it down.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go back and actually look at all the sellers, this one's, I mean, the numbers aren't that bad on this one, but it was $34 what they calculated, but Amazon's on it for $32. They don't use their own, like if Amazon's on the item and they're the lowest price, they don't use that as the lowest price to calculate the FBA. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I started finding it when I was looking at these items, and there's some of them that are really bad, like, a $12 to $15 difference in the price.
Yeah, I've never. I mean, I always go through and look at all the FBA offers before I check the before I go to the calculator to see what something's worth. And I mean, I guess I just when I notice, I've noticed that before. I just never really thought about it. I just changed the price. But yeah, I'm back on Profit Bandit, so I haven't even been using the Seller app lately.
Yeah, well, we were using it for a while.
Just started getting used to it.
Yeah, we started using it quite a bit, and then I saw that on a couple of items, and this last time we went shopping at this place, and I was like, man, what the hell?
So did you ever get a hold of Mr. Sadie, Dusty?
Yeah, we talked on the phone.
What's going on with him? What's going on, Sadie? I see you in the audience there. That made me think of it.
Lives in upper Missouri, St. Louis-ish area, and they had flooding and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, his homestead house where he and his wife and raised kids and everything else pretty much got flooded. He had a little bit of notice because I asked him, do you have much notice? He said they kept raising I think it was the time or the water level or something, saying, oh, 2 more feet or 2 more hours or something like that. And finally he realized, he looked at his wife and he's like, we're not going to make it, this quick as it's rising. And so they managed to get some stuff, important stuff out. But, yeah, they lost their house and pretty much lost everything else. So, but he's okay. He's chin up and going and getting back going. And he said, I'll survive. So.
Yeah, I mean, insurance and everything should cover most of it, but I didn't know if you guys had figured something out where, you were trying to help him out or anything, or if you even needed it.
I talked to him about that. He said he's good. He's good. So.
Good. Yeah, I know Robin. She's like one of the original panel members on the show. I mean, she was probably around for the first 6 months or so of like almost every single show. So, we still keep in touch. She just doesn't have as much time to get on lately. But, yeah, she had the same kind of thing happen. Her and her family were out on vacation for a couple weeks, and they came back to Charleston, and everything they owned was just covered in mold. And I guess they're not doing quite so well, but, yeah, they set up a GoFundMe and everything. So if you guys have a couple bucks to throw at that, it would help her out a lot. I mean, I donated as soon as I saw it, But let me, you know what? I'm gonna find this real quick. It's in my group, the
Or
Reseller Wake Up. If you go
GoFundMe?
there, what's that?
Or GoFundMe thing?
Yeah, but
Hang
I'll
on,
go ahead and post a link in the chat too, and then after the show goes off air, I'll post another link in the description just in case anybody wants to throw her a couple bucks. Because I mean, even if it's just like $5 or something like that, you know, I mean,
Sounds
any
like
little bit
something Mr.
helps.
Sadie could do too, right?
Yeah, he could, but I mean, if he's good, I take his word for it. You know, I mean, he seems like the type of guy that he's he'll figure it out, and I trust him. I mean, I'm not gonna force anything on him, but I know Robin's already said that she appreciates any help, and you know, she's a old friend of the show, so I'm definitely gonna do whatever I can. But
That's what's that? I don't know what I was gonna say. Sorry. I'm reading and speaking at the same time, but it is sad. Yeah, I'm gonna say something because I totally lost my train.
yeah, I was actually checking her donation. She's gotten a couple really big ones, but
She's done pretty good. I was looking at too.
yeah, but I mean, like I said, if you can get, I mean, if 20 people donated $5, that's $100, you know, and that's a big difference for her, you know, so.
And that's tough because she lost. I mean, I think she lost everything: mattresses and furniture, and
Yeah, and I mean, they were renting, so it's not like they had homeowners insurance or anything like that to cover everything, you know. I mean, it's not the same situation, but I mean, it's, I don't know.
you know, renter's insurance for future reference. Renter's insurance is actually pretty cheap. I mean, you get $20,000 worth of contents coverage for $99 a year. But then again, you're dealing with an insurance company. Like in her case, I think it was water under the house. I don't know if that was due to. Did they have flooding there? Was that what the water was from, or?
Yeah, they had flooding there.
So, but then it created mold in the house. So you know how insurance companies are. They may say, "Oh, you didn't have a mold rider, or you didn't have a flood right." You know,
Yeah.
they're going to screw you around any way they can. But so I don't know if even that would have made any difference or not. But
Yeah, I mean, it's killer no matter what, no matter how you look at it.
But if anybody out there is a renter and doesn't have it, it's not as expensive as you'd think. We go through Travelers, and it's like $99, which is underwritten. We go through Geico, but Geico doesn't write them, so they underwrite it through Travelers. But it's like $99 a year.
You can and if you switch over, a lot of times if you're switching to another company, you can almost get it for free. Because by the time you switch over and they give you all the discounts and everything like that, it actually, by the time you save the money on your regular insurance, you actually will get the insurance for free.
Right.
Yeah, that's what happened with me. I mean, I got it tacked onto my Geico coverage, and it didn't cost me anything extra, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and that landlord should have had some type of policy that covered some of their stuff anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what the details are. I mean, they're trying to get it all squared away right now, but I mean, it's not like they're balling out of control over there, you know. I mean, some people, they're a young couple, you know, and they've got kids, young kids. So, I mean, it's harder for some people to recover from something like that than it is for others, so.
So, car insurance $5 a month. That's all.
People post in the chat. Yeah. It is crazy how bad I mean, it's freaking disasters that have been going on. I mean, it seems like we've been getting hit hard this last month or so in the States anyway.
My grandmother, you probably heard this story before, but I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago when the tornado came through and wiped out Joplin, Missouri.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up. I grew up in Joplin and Springfield, Missouri. My grandmother had been in the same house since like the 1950s, maybe. My grandfather had passed a few years ago, but you know, she kept everything up, kept her insurance up, everything else, and she lost everything. And my dad had to help her. She's like 80. So my dad was helping her do all the contents. We actually drove back to Joplin and dug through what was left, and we're making lists and sending them over to my dad, and he was, you know, faxing page after page to the insurance company. And they finally got to one point where they're like, you know what, we're just going to max out the contents. That's plenty enough whatever. And my grandma, she actually came out on top. Her house turned out to be worth a lot more than what she thought it was. Her contents, you know, that's usually a percentage of what your house is valued at, and it turned out to be quite a bit of money. And then they took the land that her house was on, because it was in the corner of a residential area where it met commercial. They ended up rezoning a lot of that town, and her big 3-acre lot ended up going commercial. So she's got a piece of real estate. So it actually worked out okay for her. But she's pretty awesome. She was kind of the matriarch of the family, and her exact words were, you know, I've been meaning to move for years since your papa died, but I guess God just sped that process up for me. Seriously, I mean, she crawled out of the rubble of, you know, this whole entire tornado and everything. I'm like, wow, Nana, that's just awesome. I mean, you're like, she's like, I'm just glad to be alive. I was like, wow.
Yeah, tornadoes are no joke, man. They're so weird too, you know. It's one of those things where your neighbor's house could get completely obliterated and you don't even have a scratch in your yard, you know.
You know, we get a lot of them in Alabama. I've never been in one. I was in one when I was a child, but I was so little I didn't remember it. But to go back to a city like Joplin and actually see it firsthand and dig through rubble, and I mean, when I say dig through rubble, this is the house I grew up playing in. It was my grandparents' house. I knew every inch of it. Number one, I couldn't find their house because the neighborhoods were so leveled and all the street signs were gone. I had to use GPS to figure out where that. And then when I pulled up, I was like, that's not their house, because of the couple walls that were left. And my wife's like, no, that's her minivan. And I was like, wow. And then you get inside and you're looking, and the like walls that are left standing, and there's tree trunks that are this big that are just straight through walls. And when you look at the force of it, I mean, there was what was left of her kitchen. There were 3 refrigerators in there that didn't belong to her. They just, you know.
Oh, God.
And it's
yeah,
just.
I was in Clarksville, Tennessee back in, it was probably like 98, 99, something like that, when the downtown just got completely leveled. I mean, they had a really, really bad tornado down there, and just driving through that was insane. But I grew up in Illinois. I mean, when I was a kid, we would go tornado chasing, you know. It's like we'd see the tornado alerts and we'd just get in the car and go try to find them. But yeah, I mean, we saw a couple of them touch down from far enough away where we felt pretty safe, but it's insane.
Pretty scary.
Yeah. But yeah, so I did over the last week or so, finally, I've been meaning to kind of change my step up my photo game again, you know, just trying to get that better and better for eBay. I feel like that's important, but I kind of reorganized my daughter's room, since I only have her half the time, you know, and there's like 3 or 4 days a week, plus while she's at school and stuff, it's kind of unused space, I guess. So I set up a little table and a backdrop and everything for my photos in there, and I've got it's like a folding table, so I can just break everything down when she's home, and then when she's not here, then I can just set it back up again in like 2 minutes and go to town on that. But yeah, I got a new camera. I was using my DSLR, but you know, they're good if you know how to use them, but there's some, like, I couldn't figure out some of the features, and I don't want to sit there and read through a manual and books and all that to get everything dialed in perfect. But I got this Samsung, another point and shoot, but it's got like built-in Wi-Fi, and it connects. I've got one of those Galaxy tablets, you know, like a little Samsung Galaxy tab, and there was like some app that I just downloaded on here, and then hit the connect button on here, and boom, everything just sync together, and now everything just goes straight to my tablet. But it's kind of cool. I mean, now, like, I just get on I'll sit there and spend a few hours taking pictures, and then when I get done with that, when I go to list, you know, I can just sit there and upload all the pictures to eBay drafts, and then I save I'll fill in everything while I'm like watching TV or whatever, and then when I need to do, like, the only thing that's still kind of slow is the description, but I'll just save drafts, and then when I go to actually list everything, I'll go to my computer, sit down, and just knock out all the stuff that takes some actual typing, and I don't know, it seems like I can get a lot done, and it doesn't even feel like work. You know? I mean, everything's just kind of getting more and more automated. I would like to figure out flat files. I feel like that's the last little key thing that I need to get rocking so that I can really start doing just like 40, 50, 60 listings a day, no matter what I'm trying to do. You know, I mean, I can do that with like video games and DVDs and like, you know, that kind of stuff, CDs. I can do listings really fast, but when it comes to clothing, it just seems like no matter what I do, I can never get more than like 10, 15 items listed a day. It just takes too long to do all the measurements and all that. And I mean, when you're using like dressing up mannequins, you're folding everything, you're moving stuff around. Then you gotta find a good place to put it to store it, you know, because you don't want it to just be like wadded up in a corner or whatever. You know, I mean, you gotta have a lot of clothes to make good money selling them, and it takes up space. But so if anybody, I don't know if any of you guys have suggestions for your clothing process that make things go really fast, I'd love to hear it.
I don't know about fast, but definitely storage. That's the idea that John gave me a long time ago with the boxes.
Yeah.
And packaging them up in the plastic, all ready to ship, and then just store them in those boxes. Yeah, that made a huge difference when I was doing it.
Yeah, I feel it's to me like just one more step because I never have a problem finding clothes. I mean, I don't usually have more than like a couple hundred, like maybe 50, 60, 70 clothing items listed at a time. And
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take up that much space. It's like half of a walk-in closet, and you know, I've got a shelf underneath with where I like fold up the shirts and the jeans and the stuff like that, and then shoes just go on a shoe rack. And I might have 20, 30 pairs of shoes listed at a time most of the time. So it's not like there's a whole lot of looking for stuff. But I mean, if I was doing 50, 60 listings a day and it was all clothing, then yeah, I would definitely need a better inventory system.
Well, the other thing is it saves you a process. It saves part of the process whenever you go to ship.
Yeah.
Because it's already folded, it's already in the bag. All you got to do is just grab that bag number, throw it into the other shipping bag, and you're good to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a video Nicole State put up a couple of days ago, and looks like she's in the chat, where she talked about she does the measurements of the clothes, and Danica's talked about it too on the show. I know when she used to do clothing, she said that she would just take measurements or like take pictures of the measuring tape on the clothes so people couldn't argue with the measurements. Yeah. And I tried it, but I was like, yesterday was jeans. That's all I listed, and I didn't have my table is big enough to do like a full thing of jeans, but my backdrop wasn't big enough to cover like the entire like that big of a thing. So I was sitting there trying to mess around and figure out how I could have the measuring tape, and I just decided it was easier, and it was only 2 measurements anyway. You know, with jeans I just measure the waist and I measure the inseam.
Right.
It is what it is. But I can definitely see why people talk about how bad women's jeans are, because all the jeans that I listed was just like this pile of women's jeans that I had just accumulated that I'd never listed, and they always went in the women's jeans pile. And it's so weird. It's like, okay, this is a size 0. Measure the waist, 14. Measure the inseam, like 32. This is a size 8. Measure the waist, 14. Measure the inseam, 32. It's like, what the hell? You know, they're all stretchy, and they've got different materials, and I guess Deb was trying to explain it to me how they've got all these different variances that they're allowed to have. And I mean, like I had some express jeans, you know, one was like a size 4 and one was a size 8. Both of them express jeans with the same kind of like labeling and everything on it. One was a size 4, the other was a size 8, exact measurements. Everything was the same. I was like, what? What is this?
That's why I like men's regular sizes better. Small, medium, large. Extra large.
Yeah. And they actually put the size of the jeans on the jeans, and it's accurate. I mean, I almost don't even bother. I mean, I always double check just to make sure, But when it comes to jeans, for the most part, guys know what size they are, and they are not that picky. Like me, I've got jeans that are size 30, 32, 34 that I wear, you know. But looks like Chris Piles is in the chat too. I've been going on his show. Like Danik has been out of town, so there hasn't been a profit talk on Monday night. So I've been doing Chris's show, and it was his group's FBA Motivators, and I think Chris Piles is his channel. But yeah, if you guys aren't, he's in the chat, so all you have to do is like mouse over his name if you're watching live right now, and just subscribe to his channel and go check out some of those last couple episodes. I've been on, I think, 2 or 3 times in the last month, so a lot of good discussion. It's more Amazon based. I mean, he's pretty much strictly an Amazon seller, but he's not like one of these dudes. He's not like Mike, you know, where, oh, I only did 300,000 last year. No, he's more of a normal part-timer, so it's more realistic, I guess. I mean, I can't say it's not realistic because we watch you do it with the big numbers like people post, but I don't know. It seems like not everybody is capable. I know I'm not. I've tried it, and I don't know. I feel like getting to 10 to 20K a month on eBay would be easier than Amazon for me. But
I think everybody's capable of exactly what they're willing to do.
Exactly. I'm way too lazy. I am not going to lie.
Yep.
Lazy and unorganized. I think the unorganized part is more accurate. I'm not lazy. You know, I mean, I will bust my ass, and I work really hard when I need to, but when it comes to, like, you have to have really good processes in place to do the kind of volume, especially when you're working alone, that, like, you do, you know? I mean, I don't know how you do it. I can't imagine. I just want to come and, like, hang out with you and be your little helper for, like, a week, just so you can show me everything. That'd be the quickest way to learn.
There you go. Yeah.
One of these days I'll take a trip down to Dallas.
You can come down and be my free labor for a week.
There you go.
I have plenty of pallets here waiting for you.
We'll totally do it.
My father-in-law was in Dallas last week for the...
Oh, yeah, I saw him.
Yeah, you should have hooked up with him. Reported back to me on how that one went. He said it was kind of cool though. He sent pictures from like the book depository or whatever where freaking the shot JFK. I just totally drew a blank.
Yeah.
Lee Harvey Oswald. I started to say Hinckley, but he's the one that tried to shoot Reagan or whatever. But yeah, he sent pictures of it. It was kind of cool. It was like, wow, I've seen that in the movies or whatever. Yeah. Believe it or not, he offered to let all of us go. He had extra tickets to go to the game, and nobody wanted to go and ride. I mean, because from here to Dallas, it's an easy 10, 12 hours. I'm like, nobody wanted to ride in the car for 12 hours with him. And that's one way. Which is really sad because I mean that would have been cool. I've never been to a game that big, and that would have been cool to go to. But we were like, no thanks.
Right.
I know that sounds totally ungrateful, but
well, I live here, dude, and I've been to one game, and that was only because it was totally free. I'm not a Dallas fan. I'm not a Dallas fan at all, but I wanted to go see the big, huge freaking stadium or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I live 20 minutes away from the Broncos Stadium, and I've been to one football game since I moved out here in 2000, 2001, something like that. I can't remember when I moved out here. 2002, I don't know.
Yeah, that's where all the chicks go, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Not.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, the problem with girls at football games, not the ones I'm interested in. They're either there with their boyfriend, or I would not want to date them because they're like crazy sports fans, and I can't take sports fans.
It's a big sausage fest, literally. And
yeah,
that sounds like fun.
What's up?
Nothing.
Oh, it's live.
Is that the wifey?
No.
We used to. When we lived in Missouri, we used to go to a lot of Royals and Cardinals games, but I haven't been to a pro anything game. I mean, our nearest pro, Alabama has no pro teams for any sports whatsoever, and so the nearest thing we got is like the Tennessee Titans,
Yeah.
Nashville or whatever. But I'm just really not into pro ball. 18 pounds. Sorry, I'm shipping because I've got to get out of here shortly.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I did most of my shipping last night. I've got to ship a couple things that sold this morning, but
Well, I was caught up, and then I sold a couple more things. So
yeah, well, I sold a PS2, and those are always, they're big enough to be annoying, and they don't fit in a flat rate box perfectly.
oh no, this is big enough to be annoying.
Oh God. Yeah.
But believe it or not, it weighs 4.5 pounds. So, but it's 28 by 28 by. So I'm just going to take it to my box store guy. I made enough money off the tire that if I have to, I'll go ahead and print the FedEx label, add a few pounds for a box, and then pay him. He'll probably charge me $6 to box it.
Yeah, I sold a sign yesterday, and it only weighed like 1.5 pounds, but it was just big and awkward. It was like wire with little LED lights and a paper back, like a plastic backing, like really thin and flimsy. But it was like that big, you know. So I had to like put 2 regional A boxes together and bubble wrap the crap out of it. It was so awkward when I got done. I was like, I hope this makes it.
The last one, the last bicycle wheel that I shipped was like last week. The kids had got my father-in-law got my son one of those Serta pillows that are like memory foam, but they have the cooling pad. I think they carry them at Costco, and they come in a box it was the right size for like half the tire. I was like, crap. So I was gonna go to the basement, and I went down there to see if by any chance there was any weird size, box that I had saved for, and I found another one where he had bought us the same pillow last year, the exact same box. So I stuck the 2 of them, cut the ends off both of them, and kind of telescoped them together and stuck the wheel in there. But I'm not doing it on this one. I'm just going to pay to buy a box.
Right.
It took me about 15 minutes to put the 2 together and package it and all that. And I was like, no.
Yeah, so I just got a question on PM. Somebody was asking about what size tool you need to take apart an NES game. You know how they have those really weird screws? Have you guys ever had to do a battery change?
I'm actually sending him the link for that now. Because he asked me to.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, this is all they are. They're little bits, but like you can see, they're really like oddly shaped. And
Yeah, they're definitely a specialty tool.
yeah, but I mean, one of them, this one I have for like video games. This covers like Game Boy like old original Game Boy games, NES games, Super Nintendo games. Actually, the Super Nintendo games use the bigger one? Do you know off the top of your head? I don't know. You can buy both bits for like under $5 on eBay with free shipping.
Yeah, they're well on Amazon. They're $12 and they're Prime. So
buy them on eBay. Unless Adam sent you a affiliate link, and then buy them on Amazon.
Well, I've got eBay affiliates too, so it really doesn't matter.
No, they're cheaper on eBay, but
yeah, I'm checking now. I know what they're called.
yeah, but I mean I always use I use this anytime I sell a video or an NES game, just because I always open them to clean the leads, because I mean those things are gross. They usually get like real cruddy, and they'll have a little bit of corrosion and stuff on there. Okay, Don Davis asked, when you have time, could you please explain restricted items and gated categories on Amazon? I mean, that's pretty simple and straightforward. There are certain categories on Amazon that are gated, and all that means is you can't sell in those categories without approval from Amazon. Are you still doing your own gating service, Adam?
I touch on it every once in a while. I haven't got a lot of orders. I haven't tried.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody needed to get ungated in something, you'd be able to figure it out though and help them, right?
Yeah, unless it's grocery or DVDs or health and beauty, you definitely need invoices from either wholesale or whatever else. Online invoices.
Grocery and health and beauty are a little easier than DVDs though. I mean, all you need is a wholesale invoice, right? Or does it have to be from a certain list of wholesalers that Amazon knows, or does it matter? I mean, like me, I've got friends from my produce days where if I needed to get grocery invoices, I could just go talk to them and buy directly from the store, but get a wholesale invoice instead of a receipt at like some of the Asian markets and little mom and pops that I dealt with, and I wouldn't have any problem. But and I'd be able to probably do health and beauty the same way because like all those Asian markets sell everything. You know, they sell all kinds of weird health and beauty stuff. But DVDs, there are like 3 suppliers I think that you're allowed to, that Amazon will accept, and you have to buy like thousands of dollars worth of DVDs for Amazon to approve you, from what I understand. What's that?
I don't know. I was hoping you'd tell me.
Looks like anime. Oh,
Yeah.
it's all Japanese. Is it a manga book or VHS or?
It's a big action figure.
Oh, that's cool. It doesn't have a barcode?
Nope, no barcode. I got this one.
How many of them do you have?
I have this one.
That looks like a completely different brand. And
Yeah, this is like Dragon Ball Z. So.
oh, okay.
Yeah, the other ones, I don't know. It says Sega on the back of it, but I don't know.
Those things are money, man. Some of them. I mean, people will pay like $50 for some. And if it's collectible, like especially if like Japanese import, which is what those look kind of like. Yeah, you could be sitting on something that's worth a good amount. I mean, the world's getting smaller, so Japanese import stuff doesn't matter as much anymore. And especially if it's being produced now, you know, just because if it's being sold in Japan, you can probably buy it from an eBay seller in Japan for retail plus shipping, which the shipping is not that expensive internationally anymore. But yeah, so that's gated categories. Clothing and is jewelry still open? Like not the fine jewelry, but just like the cheapo costume jewelry. Is that still pretty easy?
Yeah, that's still, as far as I know, still open.
The thing with ungating, sorry, I was taping a box. I'll pipe in just a little bit and give my opinion. But which Adam's probably more. He's done more ungating for people and knows how much. The thing is, it's changed so much. Like when DVDs, when they first gated the category, it was easy. There were a few distributors that they took that were super easy, and you didn't have to make massive purchases. But now that's all cracked down. So I would hate to do what Adam does and get people ungated or what other ungating people do, because the rules change so much. And I honestly think, and this is 100% speculation, but I think that a lot of whether or not they ungate you depends on age and standing of your account. I still believe that, you know, because when you see, it seems to me I've seen a lot more new sellers that did all the right things, had all the right invoices, and tried to get ungated, and they didn't get in. And then you take somebody that maybe has been selling there 5 or 6 years, they didn't have to do near as much, and they magically got in. To me, that indicates, like I said, pure speculation. There's probably some of that comes into play. I mean, do you think, Mike, Adam, I mean, do y'all think that's... Adam, have you seen that more when
who you get?
I
think it also depends on who's looking at your ungating request. I mean, you could get
yeah, absolutely.
It could just be luck. Where's that echo coming from?
I mean, I'd be terrified to try to get ungated in anything now if you were thinking about going out and buying a ton of wholesale that was unreturnable, not knowing if those invoices were even going to work from that company. I mean, that'd be kind of a big leap. You know what I mean?
Right.
You definitely would need a contingency plan for what if they don't accept these invoices. I just spent $2,000 on all these whatever products. You need at least have a contingency. Hey, well, I can at least sell them on eBay, you know?
Yeah, and makes something. Like, that's the problem with eBay versus Amazon. I mean, a lot of times if you've got an item, one of the reasons why I'm not so concerned with getting ungated in DVDs is because if you find a DVD that's worth like $100, you can put it on eBay and sell it for pretty close to what you can get for it on Amazon, at least half of what you can get for it on Amazon. And if you're paying $1 for a DVD, dang, instead of getting $100 on Amazon, I can only get $50 for it on eBay. You know, I mean, I'm not concerned, and I always say, like, I don't really care necessarily about getting top dollar on every single item I sell, as long as I'm making a profit and making good money. You know, and in that case, you put it up for $50 on eBay, it's likely to sell pretty quickly because somebody who sells on Amazon is probably going to see that, who can sell DVDs, buy it, and then they'll just sell it on Amazon, and I'm fine with that. You know, I've got people that I can call. I do it with Dusty. You know, I mean, if he's ungated on DVDs, if I find a bunch of DVD box sets or something that are worth a lot of money, I'll ask him first if he wants them.
I think I bought DVDs from all three of you here, actually.
Probably.
Some of which I still have, but I mean, I knew, when I got them that they were, long, extreme long tail.
Yeah.
The potential was there.
Well,
But
that's the other.
y'all made your money because I know you had next to nothing in them. We all kind of have an idea of what each other buys stuff for, so y'all made your money. Everybody was happy, and
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, if you've got that obscure DVD that sells for $100 on Amazon, it might take that dude 2 or 3 months or more to sell it, maybe a year. But if you put it up for $50 on eBay and it's gone like that because the guy that thinks he can get $100 for it buys it, that guy's usually that's gonna be a pretty quick flip. So I mean, get that cash sooner. So I don't know. It's a give and take. I mean,
Yeah, I know I've sold the last few that I sold to Bama. I think it was a total like 26 to 30 of 2 different DVDs.
yeah.
And I was definitely happy with what I got. I think I maybe doubled my money after shipping.
Yeah.
But
I mean, in a case like that, when you're selling to another reseller, you don't have to worry about a listing. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to you don't really have to package it. I mean, you put it in a box, but I'd rather take 20 DVDs and put them in one box and slap a label on it than wait for them to sell one a week and have to package each one individually and pay to ship each one individually and stuff like that. And plus, I mean, if I'm in the store and I'm like, hey man, what do you think? And you're like, yeah, okay. This is what I want for them, and then I can go home, I buy it, go home, throw it in a box, drop it off at the post office. It's like an hour of work to double my money. I'm happy with that, even if he 10 times his money.
yeah,
I like a good.
and that's the thing.
Go ahead.
I was just basically saying that I was happy with it. I know the listings had nobody on it, and the potential was out there. I have no clue what he priced them at. I have not even looked at the listing, and
The one that you told me that there was 20 of them, I had to tweak the listing a little bit because whoever last sold on that listing it sucked, and I put new pictures and got the title fixed, and it's got a 500,000 rank in movies and TV, which is high. That's like the top 50% in that category. But I've still got all 20 of them. They've been in there since November 22nd. I'm at $19.99 with all 20 of them available, but I am still the only seller on those. So, I mean, I don't care, but I only had a couple bucks a piece in them, so
yeah.
I don't remember what the deal was we did, but it wasn't much. So I'm okay with that,
Yeah, I mean, Chris Piles, that guy from FBA Motivators, my buddy. He was talking about he found a DVD that sells for $200 on Amazon. And he probably has nothing in that, but he can't sell it on Amazon. I told him just put it on eBay for $100 and maybe somebody will pay that for it, or find somebody that's ungated and see what they're willing to give him for it. But I mean, back to getting ungated, they give you all the information you need. They tell you exactly what you have to do to get ungated. It's just a matter of knowing how to do what they're asking and knowing how to do exactly what they want. So I mean, if you some of the stuff's a little easier. Some of it is actually really difficult. But I mean, like Adam, if you go to biohazardpicker.com, he does his ungating service from there. If you contact him and you need to get ungated in a category, he can help you. And I mean, but you can do it on your own. It's just, do you want to sit there for 2 weeks fighting with Amazon trying to figure out what exactly you have to do, or do you want to get advice from somebody and walk through the process by somebody who knows what they're doing, and it takes you, 5 minutes of work for $100 or $200 or however much it costs? How much is your time worth? It's just a lot less hassle.
Chris said it was a British DVD box set. There's some decent money in those, and that's one of the. I'm really glad. I almost didn't try to get ungated in DVDs, and I realized the window was closing. And then somebody approached me, a good friend of mine, and said, "Here's a company you can use. Here's what works. Here's exactly how to do it." And I did it at the last minute. I'm glad I did, because some of those British DVD sets, like the BBC series and stuff like that, not the more popular ones, but some of the more obscure, those box sets will never make it to Walmart. They're always going to hold their value. They're out of print. The only thing is you have to be really careful with counterfeits. Some of them, I believe, are counterfeited.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I didn't get ungated in DVDs, because, I mean, it just takes that one where you don't even realize it's a counterfeit because it's some obscure, low-quality DVD or whatever. It doesn't, like, the packaging doesn't look quite as good. You just don't know. But I mean, if it's a $200 DVD, it's hard to resist the temptation to send that in. But I don't know. Yeah, I put the ASIN in there so you can look it up if you want. It's in the chat.
Yeah, and that's something that I would probably sell. That's the kind of stuff that I like. That is a BBC thing. Gosh, the only hesitation on that one was his new or used?
He said it was brand new.
The only hesitation on that one, I don't think you'd get that much. I don't think you'd get the $239.99 new, and that's been my experience because I've sold a lot of British stuff that's very similar to that. I would see the $239. I couldn't get that much because what's killing it is the guy that's selling it prime used very good for $109.99. If that were mine, I would price it. I'd send it in FBA at new at probably $179, expecting to probably get $149.
Right.
Christmas time, yeah, somebody might pay $200 for it. But there's such a big margin between the used and the new. If somebody just wants to watch that series, they're not necessarily going to care as much that it's new. You know what I mean?
Yeah, during Christmas and Q4, that's when you can get the outrageous prices for stuff because people are buying things for gifts. They don't care how much it costs. They're doing it they're buying it for somebody else, so they're willing to open up their pocketbook a little bit more. But
right.
I don't know.
And then there's a bunch of merchant fulfillers that are at $44.95. Of course, they're Goodwill, and I don't know who that company is. But yeah, I mean, new. If he was ungated, I realistically would expect to probably get $149 FBA.
Yeah, Goodwill is definitely a place that's going to get harder and harder to source from if you're buying for Amazon, just because they're getting wiser to the values of things. I mean, I still get good deals. I bought 2 pairs of Dre Beats Studio 2s a couple weeks ago for like $40 a pair. Those are still selling for like $130, $140 on eBay. And I could probably send them into Amazon and get more than that if I wanted. But that's the kind of thing that I think they crack down pretty hard on.
I would not touch Beats on Amazon with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, they're just too faked.
So how do you know? Well, where's Adam? Adam would probably know. How do you tell the difference between fake Beats and real Beats?
The real Beats have a serial number, and you can look them up on the website, and it'll actually tell you like the exact item, like what color they are and everything.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I just sell them on eBay anyway. I mean, they sell good. They sell fast, and I mean, I think. But yeah, that kind of stuff, I feel like it's just going to be less and less of that because of Amazon and the fact that more of the Goodwills are moving towards putting whatever they can on Amazon. But
I phase thrift stores kind of out of my business model. I mean, if that's all you have, I mean, then that's all you can do. But I've tried to kind of phase those out in the last year or two because here thrift stores they're looking up more and more stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I still do great at thrift stores, and I still buy a lot of stuff for Amazon at thrift stores. I mean, it's...
Well, and I'm not saying it's bad, but it's kind of like when you see the writing on the wall, you know, as far as the more you go into a store and then they start hanging little pieces of paper with the eBay printout, or you try and negotiate with them and they go, well, here's what it's worth on eBay. You know, the more you hear eBay, when it becomes obvious that certain stores are looking stuff up in the back, you know.
Right.
I mean, we had a computer when we ran the nonprofit thrift store. We had a computer in the back that had internet, and if they got anything weird that was looked like it might be rare or unusual, the employees were to, when the donations came in, they were to throw it to the side and hold it for me or look it up on eBay.
Yeah.
I mean, but we also price stuff, you know, where there's room for the eBay sellers that came in to make some money. But a lot of the stores, the bigger stores, they're not doing that. You know, oh, it's worth, and they don't look at sold either. I had to teach my employees how to do that. They're like, oh, people are asking $100. You know, a lot of these stores, people are asking $100 on eBay. We'll put it at $89.99.
Yeah.
You know, well, that's stupid.
I mean, I've been pretty successful with the thrift stores around here, negotiating with them and explaining how the pricing should be working and how, you know, that eBay ad probably gets 1,000 people looking at it. Meanwhile, there's going to be 20 people that pay attention to it walking through the store. The eBay item is more likely to sell at that price because there's so many people looking at it. But I don't know. On the other hand, I get people that, like, I'll sell you stuff. I get angry messages every once in a while. It's like, this didn't look as good as I thought it would. I could have bought this at a thrift store for such and such. I remember one time I did that with, like, this really rare KitchenAid toaster, and I sold it for, like, $60, but it was, like, a bright red, really hard to find color, and they didn't make it anymore, and there was nothing even remotely like it that's been, that they've manufactured in, like, the last, you know, 5 years or whatever, and this lady buys it, and then she gives me a angry message about how she could have bought it at a thrift store for $3 or something like that. I was like, you know, lady, I've been doing this for years, and that's the first one that I've ever even seen at a thrift store. So if you think that you can, if you want to spend the next, you know, 2 years looking for one, then be my guest. And she just got back to me like, oh, you're right. Sorry, I had a bad day or whatever, but. So, yeah, I guess hit Chris up with an offer on that DVD if you want to buy it. He's looking to sell them to somebody who can sell it on Amazon. Let's see, did we cover everything? Yeah, I think so. Oh, let me ask you this. CDs. I got this book, I got a few books of these CDs. You know, like, every once in a while I find these at Goodwill or whatever for like 10 or 20 bucks, just like a book of CDs, and they're all like real CDs inside. Maybe some of them, like this one, it's like front and back, just pages of CDs, you know, and they're all like there's a little bit of mainstream stuff like this. There's like a couple Prince CDs and Korn and Green Day I saw in there, but there's a lot of obscure stuff too, you know, like Dropkick Murphys, Murder Dolls, some stuff that I've never heard of. Kidney Thieves? I don't know. I don't even know. But I was looking some of them up on Amazon, and they're selling for okay money, and I think I spent 25 bucks on the folder. But do you guys ever send these? I know if I send them into Amazon, they'd have to be listed as acceptable, but did you guys ever bother trying to sell CDs on Amazon without the case and no artwork or anything, just the CD? Because I do it with video games all the time, no problem. And I do it on eBay with DVDs all the time, no problem. But I don't know about Amazon.
Go ahead.
I'm just worried about how much people are buying CDs on Amazon now because they're collectible or they want it on their shelf. But then if they get it in a jewel case or something with no artwork, then maybe they didn't read the listing well enough. I mean, I always put disc only, and that's the first thing I put in my uh, listing in the description, but I don't know.
It's been my experience that CDs sell about as well as books. You know, and you can put one on, you could list it, and it'll be like a okay listing or okay rank, but it's because one sold in like the last 8 to 10 months or whatever. So, and the books are kind of the same way. You know, sometimes you can get a bunch of books and they'll sell really fast, but most of the time they're sitting around waiting.
Well, you know, I would use these, or I've got the same philosophy on these things as I would have on books. You know, if I buy a box of books at a garage sale or something, there's 50 books in there, and I pay $10 for the box, and then I go through them and I pull out anything worth that looks like it could sell for more than $10. I only need one of them to sell to get my money back. $2, two of them to sell to make a profit. Anything else on top of that's gravy, and I can throw half the box away if I want to, and still make money. But I mean, this CD, this folder has there's got to be probably 200 CDs in there. And like I said, it's not like super mainstream stuff that's like penny CDs. You know, I was looking them up, and a lot of them are, you know, Amazon's on them for like 10, 15 bucks, and some of them Amazon's not on. They're worth a little more.
My only hesitation with it would be because they're missing casings. The best you could do would be used acceptable,
Which I do all the time.
but how many people are, of course, if you're doing FBA, you know, you got a little more leeway with returns and maybe getting the feedback removed because if you listed it correctly and everything else and they just didn't bother to read it. But my question would be how many, I've never sold loose disc stuff like that, so I don't really know, but my only concern would be how many buyers have no clue what the condition guidelines are, so, and they don't read the notes, especially when they're buying from mobile. They just see used offer that's in the buy box for $7.99 and they grab it. So how many buyers out there are going to be dissatisfied when they get it? Like you said, it's just a disc. That would be my only concern. Plus, it seems like some work. I mean, me personally, I'd put the whole entire binder on like eBay.
Try and get like $100 for it.
Huh?
And try and get like $100 for it or something.
Yeah, I'd put $99.99. List a few of the bands that seem halfway popular, you know, in the title. Take the pages out. You know, try to get pictures if you can of all the discs.
Yeah.
And be like, here it is. And then just.
I honestly thought about doing that. And plus, the other thing is, they're scratched, a lot of them. I mean, I went through and burned a ton of them to my hard drive just to see how they would do, and they all burned down just fine. Like, I didn't have any errors or anything like that. But you know, I don't want to sit there and clean 200 CDs that I can sell for $5 or $6 a piece. Now we're talking about not worth the time and effort. Luckily, we have a CD expert here.
There you go. Vlogs by Callie in the chat said, I will buy the CDs and deal with the Amazon headache. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it just depends on what you got the time, what you got the patience for. Like Ronnie, like you were saying, Ronnie's dealt with a lot of CDs lately, and he knows there's good money in them, but it's a lot of hassle. You know, and then with the used ones, you got to put jewel cases with them and all that kind of stuff, or some kind of sleeve.
I mean, I'll break down mine. Mine were 70% new. That's the only reason I bought them. I looked at a few, you know, I didn't see any cutouts or anything like that. I mean, I was just like, all right, I'll take the chance. I paid 3 cents a piece.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, out of that, 1 out of every 6 are getting sent in. The other ones really are not worth my issue. Either they're too high of a rank, like a million rank, there's 3 FBA sellers on it. Guess what? It's probably not going to sell in this lifetime. Move on and go to somebody. You know, if there's a lot of them that I'm sending in that don't have any, there's none. There's not one CD listed. Good or bad, I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
And then some don't have any FBA. You know, it was kind of like a, you know, you pick and choose your issue with it and seeing if you want to take the time to send it in.
Yeah. I mean, I just sold a CD like that within the last couple of days. Just one of those random, this thing is never going to sell, but it's listed for like $50, and that's the lowest price on Amazon. And I went, and it was like a quarter. You know, I bought it at Goodwill. Maybe it was like 50 cents, but I bought just to try it out. I went in on half off day one time and bought like 20 or 30 CDs just with the intent of sending them in, and it sat there for a year, but it sold for 35 bucks, and I probably paid a penny a month to store it at Amazon's facility, and I mean it just sold. So like, that one sale was more than made up for all the other CDs that I bought in that lot. Last time I bought a ton of CDs though, I was at a pawn shop and I saw they were selling them for, they were on clearance for 10 cents a piece, and so I'm talking to them and they're like, I picked out a bunch of them and I probably bought like, 30 or 40 of them, and they're like, we've got like 6 boxes of CDs in the back if you want to buy them all. I was like, how much? They're like, oh, we'll give them to you for like 10 bucks if you take them all. I was like, sold. So I took them all, went straight to TradeSmart, the store that I do a lot of my used stuff in, and let them go through them. I didn't even look at them. They offered me $250 in store credit, took every single one of them, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that all day, I mean, I ended up 10 bucks into 250 bucks in store credit, take that store credit and flip. Like, I can pay cash in that store and make money off of the prices that they sell stuff for, but I mean, when I get store credit like that, that's just pure gold for me. But
I will never do it again.
that's the only way that I do it anymore. I mean, I don't, like, if I buy a bunch of books at a garage sale, I just take them to TradeSmart. There you go. If I buy a bunch of DVDs, same thing. Here you go, guys.
Telling me send the ones that aren't really worth anything to be clutter, and I did that. It averaged like 20 cents a piece or some bullshit, and but the problem is you can only pack 25 per box. I'm like, that's not worth my time. I'm going to be having like 20 boxes, 30 boxes over here, to get a few $100 tops. I mean, that's a lot of time and effort to put into that. I start doing that. I'd rather just work at the restaurant.
Right.
Hang it up. I mean, it would take me all day to make $200-300. I mean, I don't know. I could do a lot more listing stuff.
Well, one of the things that made me really think about what I'm doing, like per day, is using Inventory Lab to create shipments. Because I started doing Amazon shipments through Inventory Labs, and it sits there and it tells you exactly, like you put the cost in of the item as you go. It'll tell you exactly how many items are in the shipment, how much you paid for the shipment so far, and how much you're gonna what your total value of the shipment is. And so, I mean, when I did a 100-item shipment and it was like, I've got 500 bucks in this, the value is like $4,000, that kind of made me think a little bit different about how I listed on eBay too. So now if I'm sitting there deciding what I want to list for the day, I'll do a quick estimate of what I think I'm going to be listing all this stuff for. And, I'm not going to spend my time listing 20 or 30 things that I'm going to sell for $10 a piece unless I can list them like boom, 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 boom really fast, And, I mean, it's, if you've got, say, you're trying to list a bunch of shirts, and you think you can get 15 bucks a piece for them, which that's, I don't even like messing around with stuff that's that cheap. But I know I'll probably get 10 or 15 listings done. That's only 300 or 400 bucks. No, not even that. 150 or 15 bucks a piece. Let's say 15 listings.
180.
Yeah. I mean, are you going to sit there for 4 or 5 hours for $180 in sales, even if you paid $1 each for them? You got to factor in your time too, and your sell-through rating is only going to be, if your sell-through rating is 20 or 30%, pretty typical for clothing most of the time. I mean, now the first month that 180 bucks is you're only gonna get 60 bucks out of it for that much work, when you could be doing something like, I don't know, like these little CD players. I'll pick these up all day for like $2 or $3, and they sell for 15, 20, some of them 30 or 40. I'll do those because it takes me 5 minutes to do the pictures and then a couple minutes to test them, and the listings are boom, 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 boom. I can do all that on a template. You're not really spending that much time on it, So, I don't know. It's just, definitely got to think about how much time you're spending on everything and how much you're going to get back from the time that you spend on it. So if you can do the quick math, then
Yes, sir. Time is money.
yes, it is.
Morning, my wife had a flat tire this morning on the car. It was low on air yesterday, and I said, oh, let's see if it holds air. I woke up this morning, I went to check it. It is dead flat. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's cold out here this morning. I mean, I got to call AAA in a few minutes and have them go and change the tire. Because it's cold outside. I ain't doing it.
Right. No, my ex called me yesterday, and she's like, so you're going to have to come here and pick up the kid because I have 2 flat tires, and it turns out, like, I showed up and somebody had slashed her tires. And I was just like, oh, who are you making mad?
No shit.
Who'd you piss off? No, but, I mean, her place isn't in the best neighborhood, and it's probably just some random kids that thought they were being funny or something. I don't know.
Hey, we used to do that as kids. Never mind. But
Don't worry, statute of limitations is already up, man. You're good.
Yeah.
me and my cousin used to run around and do all kinds of stupid things.
Like cut the stem off of the tire with a pair of...
I don't know what he was. I was 12. He was 14. We used to do all kinds of stupid things.
Yeah, I got in trouble a couple times. We got caught once, and luckily we were doing it like the old-fashioned way. You know, we had a pin in the tire stem, so it didn't actually hurt anything. So the cop was just like, "Look, you guys can go just because you didn't damage anything, but don't ever do it again." It's like, yes, sir.
I had to buy mailboxes for 6 people. It was either that or go to juvie. So yeah, I've forgotten about that one. I should tell my kids that story. Those things not to do.
Yeah, I've got a big, long list of things not to do.
Don't try drugs.
Oh, stay away. Stay away. Yeah. So, Brooks in the chat, got Country Girl, Don Davis, Chris is still there. I saw Chris Griffin earlier. He's another guy that's been on the show a couple times. He's like a brand new seller. He had some interesting questions. You know, I want to do that. I want to get more like brand new sellers on the show. Somebody that doesn't know crap, who's just trying to figure everything out. Just to hear their questions, to hear what they want to, like, oh, a total noob like Chad. Yes, we could get Chad back on there.
I was thinking Adam.
I started to say Adam. But Adam didn't talk, so I don't know if he's in a bad mood. He's only talked one time today, so I don't know if he's in a bad mood or not.
No, I'm good.
I'm not gonna poke the sleeping bear just yet. So
I'm just basically relaxing. I'm listening to you guys. I've got one more order process. I've got a wholesale order just placed. Had to book a hotel, so I did that. So
Nice.
no, I'm good.
Oh, great. Yeah. So, Brooke, if you got a webcam and a mic, then hey, get you on here. You can ask away. I want to hear your questions. I don't know. I feel like new sellers bring different perspectives to things, and some of those questions that some people get sick of hearing a million times. I mean, when you're asked face to face, then somebody else that's new hears it, then they don't have to ask that question anymore. It sticks in their head better. I don't know, just a thing. But if you're a new seller and you're interested, just hit me up on Facebook, or leave a message or leave a comment below in the video on how I can get a hold of you, and maybe we can get you on the show, and we can hear from you. But I think it's about that time. Oh, I'm supposed to mention this. These guys sent me this. It's Miracle Matcha Health Mix-In. It's the new year. It's time people are thinking about eating healthier and doing stuff like that. But I mean, this stuff is pretty kick-ass. I like it. It's like a flaxseed, goji berry, like superfood type blend with stevia sweetener, which, if you don't know, is like a super healthy, all-natural sweetener that people. I mean, it's good stuff. But I'll go ahead and post a link in the chat. It's kind of a sponsor. They sent me Everybody's like, this show is brought to you by our sponsor in the chat right now, kind of. Yeah.
Show is brought to you by
They sent me
Malta-Meal.
they sent me one of these just so that I could try it out, and I agreed to mention it on my show and talk about it a little bit. So here I am. It's not like give an honest review type thing or anything. It wasn't like one of those Amazon review guys. This is the actual company just sending it to YouTubers who talk about it. But I mean, I like it, and I like stevia a lot. But you put it in. I put it in like my kale shakes and yogurt and oatmeal and stuff like that.
The hell with that shit.
Sell out. Sell out.
It works, but I posted a link on Amazon if you guys want to check it out.
It's like,
Wait, hold on a
so
second.
good.
Look on your package and see if yogurt is spelled correctly.
YOGHURT.
I think that's
Yeah,
actually.
there's not supposed to be an H.
No, you can spell it with an H. There's multiple
I
spellings.
think that's more of a UK spelling.
Yeah, I think these guys are like.
I just noticed
And
that.
actually, you can spell yogurt YOGURT, YOGH.
United Kingdom. It's from the
YOG.
company's from the UK.
HOU.
That's why.
There you go.
So,
Where they speak funny English.
Hey, we learned something new today.
I agree.
and yeah, the link I put in the chat is actually Dusty's affiliate link because I can't do affiliate links. So if you click on it, then
copyrighted.
get a little something.
They don't let you do anything in Colorado, man.
No, we're allowed to smoke pot. That's about it.
But you can't do Amazon affiliates.
Right?
And now Obama's taking all your guns, but
It's probably a good thing because I would be whoring everything if I had affiliate links.
Amazon affiliates are a gateway drug to something else. That's why.
Yeah. But anyway, the Reseller Wakeup's my Facebook group. The Reseller Society is a huge group that Ronnie helps run. They get a lot of great easy to get your questions answered over there. I post the latest episode of my show and pin it to the top of my group, so it's easy to find if you find the shows through Facebook. Resale Ronin on Twitter, Periscope, which I haven't been using, Pinterest, Instagram, all that stuff. Pretty easy to find me if you're looking. But anyway, hope to hear from you guys again. If anybody have any shout-outs or
Don't forget to check all the sellers on the Amazon seller app. To see if Amazon.
Oh, right. Yeah, if you're using the seller app to source, make sure that you're checking what the stuff's actually selling for before you go by Amazon, whatever Amazon hands you, basically, because it might be a little different. Yeah, but that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. Bitcoin.